Hi, everybody. We are back with episode 20, talking about Marvel and DC books and will it make good film and television shows? Find out what we got in store right now. All right, episode 20. Can you believe it? We've been doing this 20 times. And got see some good books. We got to see some bad books. And now we're going to see more of those today. With your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, a novelist, a comic book writer, and at the end of this video, you'll see some of the stuff that I have for sale on my website and on Amazon, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, if you want to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. I am trying to grow the channel. So let's get right into it. Let's get into DC's Birds of Prey this week, written by Kelly Thompson. And Kelly Thompson, for me, is a very hit and miss. Sometimes she's good, and sometimes she is just in the trash. And this, to me, is in the trash. So we're going back to a decade or more ago. I got to at least be a decade. I think it was even Gail Simone writing. I don't remember who created the Sin character, but that is her adopted. Dinah is an adopted sister who is she's Black Canary, and the sister was from some kind of an assassin group that she took under her wing, and she wanted her to be safe and learn, so she sent her over to Themyscira, which is Wonder Woman's Paradise Island, to be safe and to learn over there. And now we're bringing that character back because she's got to go to Themyscira and take the child back. Okay, so we get some really, really bad artwork. I mean, that artwork is extremely elementary. I mean, that's amateur crap as far as I'm concerned. Leonardo Romero, and we're supposed to pay. Okay, this one's only $3.99. Everything else jacked up to $4.99 now. But anyway, so she gets a group together, and of course it has to be female because that's all Kelly Thompson knows right. If there's a male in there, he's either humiliated or scrapped pretty quickly, or sent to the sidelines. So she only writes female characters. That's all she does, which is probably why she got this book. But she gets a group together that are going to go to Themyscira, but when they find out they have to kill Amazons, I would not be worried about me killing Amazons. I'd be worried about the Amazons killing me. So they get into a little thing, and I have no idea why Cassandra Cain, who's Batgirl in that picture right there, why is she wearing a mask, but everybody knows who she is? Inside, in daylight, I have no idea. So they say, well, how are we going to get to Themyscira? We have to get there by surprise, and we can't use a boom tube because Big Barda has boom tubes because it makes a boom sound, hence the name. So they don't want to ruin their surprise. So they're like, how are we going to get there? Well, Harley Quinn raises her hand and says, I know, but I can't tell you. It's a surprise. Oh, good, we have a surprise. Great. And then Dinah gets with Constantine, where they portal to a bar. So tell me this, Miss Amazing Writer. They need Harley Quinn to transport them to the island when what? They couldn't just portal there with Constantine? Or because he's a man, he can't create a portal to Themyscira? I do not understand that. We're using a portal right now, but we can't use a portal to get to Themyscira. Talk about poor writing, man. I don't get it. If somebody can explain it to me. Somebody explain it to me. And then we get, they're in the bar, and they get this stupid fight scene that takes like 4 or 5 pages for no reason. I mean, there's big double for no reason. I mean, this fight scene was completely out of the blue and does nothing for the story. I mean, nothing. So then we find out that her big surprise about how they're going to get to Themyscira, meaning Harley Quinn, is that they're going to use King Shark. And he says, "Okay, let's get going. I know I owe you a favor, so let's go." He sounds like Luigi, but it's okay. And we make the pizza for these big choppers that I got. Yeah, so Birds of Prey, first of all, is a dead thing for film. Margot Robbie made perfectly plain with that. I mean, she drove that into the ground, and she had all the power in the world for that film. She got that film. She produced that film. She got the film made. She wanted it to be. That's all she can do now. Anything that she produces is fem empowerment, and it worked real well with Barbie. But she had no idea if that was going to work or not, since it failed with Birds of Prey. So she just lucked out. But that's all she can do now is feminist type stuff. So, but it as well as it did with Barbie, it failed spectacularly with Birds of Prey. So that's Birds of Prey is a dead. It's a dead IP for film. So no matter even if the book was good, which it's not, they wouldn't make a film out of it. Okay, so let's move on to Marvel. We're going to talk about Captain Marvel. So Miss Brie Larson himself. So I'm a fan of Captain Marvel. So I read Kelly Thompson's complete line of Captain Marvel, which was 50 issues before she drove it so far into the ground they had to cancel it. And like I said, she's got some stories that were good, and she's got some really, really bad where I gave it a 1 when I was reviewing it. And I'm like, okay, well, this is written by somebody new. Alyssa Wong's taking over. Alyssa Wong can't write, so there's no way I'm going to start up there. So I'll see what this writer can do with it, because I really think there's a character there underneath everything, but nobody delves outside of the epidermis of Captain Marvel. Nobody deconstructs her, and she needs to be deconstructed. But nobody goes into her past. Nobody goes into anything. She's a surface level hero. That's it. It's what you see is what you get kind of thing. And we really need a writer because I really think there's a good character there, but nobody knows how to write her. And this one's no exception. So I think this was more made for a young adult audience, because they have all these advertisements for young adult stuff on the back and inside. And then we get this artwork that is completely cartoony. I mean, that is completely cartoony. So I got bad artwork back to back in these 2 books that I read. So the Kree and Skrull War are now done, and they're celebrating Armistice Day because they're celebrating the fact that there's no more Kree and Skrull War. And if it's made for kids, I don't know, because you have Hulkling. It's obviously made for more progressive young kids, I guess, because Hulkling and Wiccan are married and they're 2 men. So they're husband and husband. And so they are ruling the Skrull Empire. And I don't know what's going on, because they're celebrating peace, but then the Supreme Intelligence, which is the Kree commander, sends in outdated technology to go attack them on Armistice Day. Okay, so apparently he doesn't want there to be peace anymore, and makes it plainly clear because he launches an attack on the day that they're celebrating peace. What the? I don't understand. But now there's all kids that are in the crossline, so her and Wiccan and Hulkling all team up to fight these things. Not that they don't have an army. And normally on like Armistice Day, you have like the army like presenting itself too, So yeah, I mean look at the artwork there. It's like, look at the expression on her face on the bottom. It's just like completely cartoony. Wow, so bad. So yeah, so they go, oh, we did it, we beat him, and now let's hug and kiss and be forever ours, yay! Oy, oy. And then they go look out into the sunset. It's amazing. And then we get this Monica Rambeau 3-page story for no reason whatsoever, with the same artwork. just so they can. I don't know if they charge more money on this one. Yeah, they did, just to charge more money. I always loved this picture of Photon, but too bad that book was pretty crappy too. And then we get a sneak peek of Photon and Doctor Strange for no reason, and I will not be picking that up. So yeah, and this shows the Alyssa Wong thing that's coming out. I'm not going near that. So Captain Marvel was become a good film or television show. Captain Marvel, like Birds of Prey, is going to be a dead IP. This will probably be the last time that Brie Larson puts on that suit. And it's unfortunate. She made herself not well liked. On top of that, I was one of the few people that did like the movie, but most people hated that movie. And it's going to lose. Okay, so let's talk about the budget for the Marvels, since we're talking about film and television. So the Marvels is now at close to $300 million. I think it's like $275 to $300 million for the budget of the film. So they have, on top of that, it was also reshoots is probably in there. They also have to add in the marketing. So let's just make it easy. We'll just say $300 million for the budget, and let's just say $275 and $75 million for marketing, which is probably low, but they probably don't want to dump too much into it anyway. So that's $350 million. So let's just make the numbers easy again, even though they're not correct. Let's say they're splitting the receipts for the theaters at 50-50, right? Even though when they distribute internationally, they don't get that kind of money. But let's say it's 50-50. So now they need to make $700, because you're doubling 350, $700 million just to break even. Fast X barely made that. So now Ant-Man's a dead character because it lost so much money. And now this will be the last time we see the Marvels too, because it's going to lose at least half of that $350 million. So it's going to lose, upwards of $150 million. My guess is that it's going to probably make $350 million all in. That's my guess, which is pretty much what Ant-Man made. So I think they're gauging right now that it's going to, make about $50 million opening weekend. It's not good. Not good. So anyway, that'll be the end of Captain Marvel on the big screen after this. So yes, that comic's not going to be anywhere near it. Now let's get into Star Wars and talk about something positive. Believe it or not, Star Wars, Bounty Hunters. This was a great issue. Finally going to talk about something positive. So Valance, who's a cyborg, he was married at one time. He was part of the Empire at one time. He was badly damaged, kind of like Darth Vader. So Darth Vader takes it upon himself to fix his balance up and makes him a cyborg like himself. Except that he actually has his skull and everything else is also a cyborg, which Darth Vader's not. So he gives him, laser beams in his hands and all that stuff. And he becomes a bounty hunter after he leaves the Empire. So now he's losing his faculties. He's losing his memory of his wife and all this stuff. So they take him to a cyborg planet to help fix him up. However, we have this stupid, dumb thing going on with the Dark Droids thing, where we have this AI that's infecting droids and making them, do nasty things. So anyway, they've infested this whole thing, but this cyborg guy wants to be he wants to be a robot. That was his goal thing. He wants to elevate himself to be a robot. So he changes Valance into being controlled. So he comes out and he actually kills somebody in the last issue, one of the other bounty hunters who was a shapeshifter who was trying to calm him down. So this whole issue is with Valance just kicking everybody's ass. Just kicking everybody's ass. Katanga's just like, no, calm down. And he's like, yeah, you're all going to die. And everybody's saying, no, no, we'll attack him. We've got a thing. And Zuckus gets in the middle of things. Bosk tries his hand at it. He gets his ass kicked. So it's really just one big fight scene of just Valance just kicking everybody's ass. And then we have this cyborg guy that's like relishing the whole thing, that he's finally going to be elevated and be accepted by the droids. And of course, that's not going to happen. And then we go, oh yeah, the big dude, the big dude squares off with him, thinking he's going to take him down, and Valance kicks his ass too, puts a spear through him. And then we switch gears to Losha, who's Tonga's girlfriend, because of course. And her little Nexus, what it was a big thing with the teeth. Nexus, whatever, I forgot what the thing was called. But anyway, so like the woman that killed the next thing is with her little. They're like loft cats, but they're not loft cats. And Losha's been looking for her for revenge. And when she finally finds her, they kind of square off, and she belts her in the face. And she says, no, just kill me. I'm sorry, but just kill me. And they team up together to fight these droids that are, part of this whole dark droid thing, which I wish would end. So that was kind of cool. And the poor guy that wants to be accepted by the droids all leave with Valance, and they leave him behind. They're like, nah, dude. He's like, you promised. It's like, yeah. We just want the cyborg, and that's it. And Tonga says, we're going to go after him. And they're like, why? And Tonga's like, we're going to go kill him. So now instead of saving Valance, they're going to go kill him. Anyway, this was action-packed. This was really lots of fun to read. So about time there's actually a Star Wars book that I'm actually happy with. And again, if you watch other reviews about bounty hunters, that'll make a really good series. If they could do Boba Fett in there and do him correctly without taking his helmet off and getting his ass kicked every 5 minutes, and then have other bounty hunters and seeing on, the Outer Rim where we don't keep him on Tatooine the entire time. It's more like the Mandalorian where we're seeing different worlds and they're all getting into trouble, but it's a group. It's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, but, bounty hunters. I think that would be fun, don't you? That would be awesome. So anyway, I thought that was kind of fun. And Valance, I had a comic book from Valance back in the 80s. So, they resurrected that character for this. But it was in a Marvel the Star Wars book way back in the day. All right, so let's get into my independents. We have Sacrifices by Rick Remender. So this is issue 3. So this is basically about a blue pigeon alien thing, who was kept in a barn by his family because I guess every 20 years they have to choose. Every family has to choose a sacrifice, and they didn't want to get attached to the kid, so they left him in the barn. Every time he tried to connect with the family, his dad would beat the shit out of him. So finally, when they came to collect him, the father stood up for him for about 5 seconds and said, no, we don't have anybody. And they're like, yeah, come on, go get him. So that's about the extent of it. And the kid went. And having no ever connection with his family ever, except for one of his sisters. So we find out also that they're going to be sacrificed to these gods who are like the elements. So the main guy on the front cover is the sun god. Basically, he ignites the sun. There you also see the water and moss. There's like little gods for everything. And he has an illegitimate daughter who is a product of him, the sun god, and the moon goddess. So she's got like a crescent moon on her face, but she's got flame hair. So she wants to prove herself, which we did not see in the second issue. She wasn't in there at all. So I'm like, why is she not in there? But anyway, so they march him all the way over to the palace, and they're fed well, and they're so excited that they are not get that life is great, and that's where this one continues. So we get to see all the gods in this one, and the it's the art's okay. I wouldn't say it was great, but it's not bad. And so it's very, very stylized. But anyway, here's her down the bottom there, right here. And she's got the flame hair. And we're meeting all the gods, and then the the moon or Luna shows up naked pretty much, but she's Moon. And she's like seeing her mom. Guess she barely ever sees her, but she didn't. She's watching from like through the staircase kind of thing. Meanwhile, all the sacrifices are having a great time in like this carnival, and they're eating up a storm, and they're so happy. And they're, and the pigeon guy's like, I'm waiting for the next, shoe to fall. I know something bad's gonna happen. And meanwhile, this orca girl, it is a girl, by the way, they're having fun together. They're playing tag, all this stuff. Everything's so happy. And she's like, don't worry about it. It's just going to be all great. And then all these little cherub, weird looking things come out. And they pick a series of the sacrifices to come with them to get made up. So, and they're like in this beauty parlor like thing, and they have like the hair dryer things that go on your head, and they're singing kind of like Wizard of Oz. They're doing a song, where they're getting them excited and blah blah blah. It's like going to a musical, and they're all like, "Woohoo! This is awesome!" Blah blah blah. And of course, then the bad things happen, because the little dryers have little spikes that come out of them. And the orca looks over and sees the guy basically with blood just going into his eyes and coming out his nose, and like, what happened to him? What happened to him? And she tries to get out of the chair, and they push her back in, and the spike goes into her head, and all these blue liquid comes out of their head into that tube, except for her, because she has fear. So they're like, well, we know somebody that drinks the fear. So it's red. But everybody else was blue because they were happy. So that was the whole thing, is that they're trying to make them happy, which I think was like in Percy Jackson. I think they tried to do that with the casino, where they made them all happy. And then all that stuff goes into a tank, which eventually goes into glasses, and the glasses are served to the gods. So they don't eat them, but they drink them. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, so it's served to all of them. And of course, the pigeon guy was not chosen, which I think feels very contrived to me. Like, oh, okay, here's the lead character, and he was not chosen, of course. So I think what's going to happen is that somehow the pigeon main character and the other girl are going to team up together, the daughter. But I like the story. I think it's very dark, of course, just by the title. But I think it would have to be an animated thing. So it would have to be almost like the original Lord of the Rings animation, where it was kind of dark. That would be the only way to do it, unless they took the story and made it more like humans were the main characters and not all these alien-looking creatures. I don't know. I mean, the story is very dark. It is very dark. So I don't know. Let's see how it ends up. It could end up in a happy thing, but I can't. I don't know how that could be turned into a happy story. All right. So then we're going on to my last thing. Haunt you to the end. This is I skipped number 3. This is number 4. So this was almost like the Jurassic Park meets Amityville Horror or whatever. So the world is ending or whatever else. So this guy takes a group of military and scientists and reporters to this island where they have a haunted house, and they have a limited window about how they're going to get off the island. And so now all these terrible things are happening. I don't know what they would expect, but all these terrible things are happening. And the priest is in the hospital now, or in, bedridden, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get off the island. And you have this one military girl. I guess they're looking for Gersh. Gersh was like one of their head people. and she's missing, so they're going to try to go find her. And then the other reporter is there, and we see the priest get up, and I guess he like attacks them, and they fall. Shaw is the guy that actually commandeered everybody together to do the middle mission. They vaulted the thing in the ground, and we get this big long thing with he's hearing the whisperings of the thing saying, "You're not going to leave us. Come, sink with us," or something like that. They want the whole island to sink, and she ends up getting on the boat, and they find Gershon there, or she finds Gershon there. And Gersh is now some kind of an undead creature. And I guess everybody who was on that boat also was an undead creature. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's not very good. I kind of like the idea of like a haunted house with the Jurassic Park type of thing, but it's just not holding my attention. It's kind of all over the place. So I'm going to say no to that one. So let's just recap. So Haunt You Till the End, I'm going to say no. The story's kind of just too all over the place. Sacrificers would have to be animated. Bounty Hunters, I would love to see that. This was a really great issue. If you haven't read this one, just for the action of it, was really good. Captain Marvel, Assault on Eden. No, very bad, very bad. Birds of Prey, also very bad. So, and 2 dead IPs on top of that from movies already out there. All right, so that's it for this week. Reading some new stuff. I might have another one actually this week because I have 4 more books sitting on my floor that I have to read. But anyway, let's talk about the stuff that I write, and I'll tell you where to pick it up, and we'll do like a little quick 2-minute thing here if you want to stick around. So, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. This is my first YA. Well, it's made for adults and 10 and up kind of thing. This is a fantasy novel. It's my first foray into fantasy. So we have different cultures. We have Egyptian and Asian and like that. So the whole island or continent is made up of different gods. So each one of the factions, praises different gods and has a different look. So we have, Vikings and everything else like that. But anyway, so this is the first in a series. So I got to sit down and actually write the next one. That's available on Amazon. And then I have my own comics. So this is my sci-fi. This is a 4-novel series. This is an comic adaptation of the first novel. It's also been made into an RPG and a board game. And you can see the artwork in there. So we have plenty of androids and things to that effect, and aliens, and we have dogfighting, and we have a good twist in there. So most people don't see coming. So let me know if you do read it and you do see the twist coming. And then this is Lords of LA, and this is number 1. Issue 2 we're going to be launching. I've been working on the Kickstarter all day, so I'm hoping to launch that within the next month, maybe 3 weeks. So this is a vampire mob. It's set in the 1950s Hollywood. So we have Marilyn Monroe in it and things to that effect. And this is it's a revenge story, but I also have another storyline going on, a B story that's going to wrap up in the next issue with the Lords of LA going up against the Lord of Vegas. So we have Were Panthers and all that stuff. It's going to be exciting. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Again, give me a thumbs up, give me a middle finger, whatever turns you on. And subscribe to the channel if you can. Just help me throw the channel out, and leave a comment if you can. Helps with the algorithms. All right. Thanks again, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. All right. Have a good night, guys. And check out my other videos. Going to appear right now. Bye.